right, what is poppin', fight fans? This is Darnel Giovani, Mystic Black, here with LowKick MMA, and I am joined by a pioneer of the sport, a legend within mixed martial arts, a former Bellator welterweight champion, defended his title 2 times, a UFC title challenger, and of course, he fights for the PFL against Ray Cooper August 13th here in South Florida at the Hard Rock Casino. Rory, how you doing today, boss?
Doing good, thanks.
Awesome. How's South Florida treating you so far?
It's great. It's nice to be living in freedom during all this COVID stuff, so I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. Do you miss any of the cold winter from Canada? But are you okay with the heat down here?
It's pretty hot, yeah, for sure. I'd rather be up in Montreal right now. It's pretty nice in the summer, but just gotta grind right now and get this work in.
Yeah. And you had to travel, of course, last time for your previous fight. Does it feel better to be fighting here where you live?
Pardon me?
You fought in Connecticut last time, and now you're going to be fighting down here where you live. Is it better and easier to be fighting closer to home?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that I don't have to take a plane is always nice. It's a convenient thing. It doesn't happen very often, so it'll be a nice change up, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And are you going to have to quarantine for this fight coming up?
No,
No. And what was the hardest part you would say quarantining when you were for your last couple fights?
I'd say being away from my family and then also not having just a regular training routine, having to adapt to, only having one training partner and, just being in a hotel room.
Yeah, and your last fight, there were no fans at all. This time, we're gonna have the fans back. Is that gonna make a difference for this fight?
From what I understand, there's no fans.
Oh, there's no fans for this fight. Okay, I thought they were gonna have a couple of people. Do you miss the fans at all?
Yeah, yeah, I do actually. It's a nice environment that I took for granted before.
Yeah, and after your last fight, unfortunately, you didn't go away with Gleison Tebow. You said you wanted the outcome to be investigated. Did you move forward with any of those investigations?
We looked into what we could do, but really our hands were tied. There's nothing we could really have done.
Yeah, and does that affect your mindset going into this fight and thinking about judges and not wanting it to go into a decision?
Well, it's under a different athletic commission, so I'm a little more confident. Um, I'm not really too focused on it. I just got to fight, and not let the past factor into it.
Yeah, and this was your first time you've ever had any issue with judging. Is this does it give you any kind of a nervousness to trust this athletic commission that's going to be down here?
I have no reason not to. I haven't heard any bad experiences from people who fought here, so I could only hope for the best and do my job.
Yeah, and do you feel that maybe more fighters should try judging than rather having these guys who have no fighter experience judge you guys' fights?
That would help, and also some accountability, maybe from like I said something like maybe like a board that would review um, controversial decisions and scores on scorecards. And if it's too many strikes for a certain judge, they get removed. But right now, in the current um, format, these judges just do whatever they want, bad or good, and they keep their job and they keep moving forward. But for the people like who are fighting and have to live the, with the consequences is us, the fighters. Even though we do our end of the job, we end up suffering, and they just you know continue on, get paid, and move forward.
Yeah, and hopefully that doesn't happen this time around because from everybody we all know you definitely won that fight. But you got Ray Cooper coming up. He won the championship back in 2019. Was he somebody that you always thought about? Maybe one day I'll be fighting him.
Yeah, I knew eventually we would cross paths. So I remember I felt like it was inevitable. He's a very exciting guy that the PFL really likes to promote, and he's done really well. And obviously they're promoting me a lot, so I think it was a crash course waiting to happen.
Yeah, and we spoke to Ray Cooper the other day, and he said his pressure is going to overwhelm you, and he can't wait to knock you out. But you're not a guy who usually takes anything personal. Does this make you feel a different kind of way going into this fight, hearing those words from him? Because he's not usually a guy who gets emotional during his fights.
Well, I mean, that's what his game plan is. Obviously, I don't think he's gonna go in there and lay down for me. So he's gonna do what he has to do, and I'm gonna do what I have to do to win.
Absolutely. And Rory, do you think the champion of these tournaments should take the belt into the next season, kind of like how Bellator did?
Uh, yeah, I guess so. I mean, I guess, yeah. I haven't really thought
And
about.
yeah, because it's kind of weird when you go into that and that person won before, and it's kind of like they have to win the title again. Shouldn't it be something to where they have the title and they're defending it, kind of like Bellator?
Yeah, I think the difference is PFLs, they don't like to structure it as a tournament. They want to call it a season, like an NFL season. So, the 2019 NFL champions were so and so. So same thing with PFL. They want the 2021 champion to be, whoever, and just move forward with their season. So I think that's really the difference. They're not marketing it as a tournament.
Absolutely. And Rory, you've been fighting since you were super young. You're still super young now, 32 years old. You've won a belt in Bellator. You're on the verge possibly of winning a title with PFL. Do you feel that UFC title you still want because you still have time in your career to be able to get that, or that doesn't make you that doesn't cement your legacy?
It would be interesting to go back there. I it would be cool. I think everyone, all the eyes and the attention are there, and that's the big stage. If I were to find my way back there, uh, it would have to be for a fair deal. I uh, I fought for the UFC for a long time, and I understand how it works. But it's at this point in my career, I'm also fighting for my family's future, and that's a very important thing for me.
Absolutely, Rory. And you trained with GSP. I'm sure you can call him one of your friends. What was the best piece of advice that he's ever given to you?
Off, I can't really remember.
Because you guys have had so many conversations. Do you guys still talk to this day?
Once in a blue moon, we're not super close, but
Was
we'll stay in touch here and there.
Yeah, but when you were younger, was he one of the guys that you always looked up to? Like, I kind of want to be like GSP, or was it I'm Rory MacDonald and I want to cement my own legacy?
Definitely wanted to cement my own legacy, but George was always a guy I looked up to, and I wanted to learn from, and I definitely admired what was doing in the sport and how good he was, and I wanted to learn from him and be as dominant as he was. So it was cool for a couple years. I really got to shadow him and learn a lot.
Absolutely, Rory. And I remember back in those days, you used to rock those trench coats and the really nice suits. And of course, it's a different time period to where there's not fans and press conferences. But when those things come back, do you want to bring those clothing styles back? I remember in your picture recently, you had the nice Hermes belt and things like that. Do you want to bring that back?
Yeah, I mean, I still dress nice. It's
Yeah.
just whatever the occasion is. I dress for the occasion, I guess, or how I'm feeling.
Is that something maybe you want to do post MMA career? Maybe get into some fashion, design some shirts or merch?
No, well, maybe my own athletic wear, but nothing like fashion. Really not that, like, I don't have that much fashion sense. My wife helps me a lot, so I can't take credit for any.
That's awesome. And I always looked up to you within the fashion sense, of course, because those colors and everything you put together back in those days were awesome. But before I let you go here, Rory, just want to ask you, a former foe of yours, Tyron Woodley, is taking on Jake Paul the end of August. Do you have any advice for Jake Paul? And do you have a prediction of what's going to happen in that boxing event?
Yeah, I think that's actually a pretty good fight, to be
Yeah.
honest. A lot of people just write off Jake Paul because he's a YouTube guy and he doesn't have a lot of fight experience. But from what I've seen, the guy can box and he likes to fight. He brings it. So That's I got respect for the guy. He goes in there and he fights hard, and it's not like he's in there and he doesn't know what he's doing. He can actually he could punch, and he could punch hard by the looks of it. So Tyrone can't take him lightly, and he's got to be on his A game. That's for sure.
That's right. And do you think Tyrone goes in there and takes him out, or Jake Paul, who's been boxing for a longer time, is going to give him a difficult time?
To be honest, from just like a boxing perspective, I think Jake could give him a very tough time. I like Tyrone, and we've crossed paths before, but it's not MMA. It's just with the hands. So it's gonna be he's gonna be at his best. So he's gonna have to be at his best, rather. So
Yeah, is that something you ever would want to do? Get in that boxing ring?
yeah, of course, I'd love to, but again, it would have to be for the right situation, and a fair deal. I wouldn't do it for just pennies. I would want to make some money, and it's awesome to see guys making good money doing it. I'm really happy to see a lot of these MMA fighters being able to go in to a different combat sport and earn their fair take of things.
Absolutely, Rory. And anything you want to say out to those Red King fans out there before your fight in 2 weeks?
Make sure to tune in. I'm going to bring it like every time, and it's going to be a great fight.
Awesome, Rory. Thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it and hope to talk to you again.
All right, take care. Thank you.
Make sure to subscribe to the LowKick MMA YouTube channel for all the latest news, event previews, and interviews with some of the biggest stars in MMA.